In this video, I'm gonna be going over how I went from 15 minutes of REM sleep per night all the way up to 2+, sometimes even 2.5 hours of REM sleep every single night, okay? So I'm gonna be going over my journey here. Essentially what happened is I used to be chronically deficient in REM sleep. I don't know why, I couldn't figure it out for the longest time, but for whatever reason, I could not get more than 15-30 minutes a night of REM sleep, which is really bad. I'm gonna put on the screen here right now a bunch of screenshots from my sleep tracker. I use an Oura Ring wearable device. And as you can see here, there's 15 minutes there, 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here, maybe 45 minutes of REM sleep per night on some of these readings, which was like really good for me. But I'm literally in the red zone for all of these readings. And the recommendation for humans to be optimal is to be getting between 1.5 hours and 2 hours of REM sleep every single night, okay? Now, I also wanna show some screenshots over here of some recent Oura Ring tracking nights that I've had where I've gotten well over 2 hours. I even have a banger right here where I did 2 hours and 45 minutes of REM sleep. And guys, keep in mind, this is off like maybe 8 and some change hours of sleep in a night. It's not like I'm getting these huge numbers because I'm like sleeping for 10, 11, or 12 hours or something like that, okay? So I'm gonna be going over in this video how I did it, how I went from sleeping terribly, having no energy, having low testosterone, not being able to perform as much as I want to in the gym, not having the energy levels and the clarity to be able to focus on work, build my business, be productive, etc., to now being really amazing and really efficient at sleeping, which then obviously allows me to have a ton of natural energy, you know, so I don't need caffeine, I don't need stimulants, I'm able to crush my workouts, I have high natural testosterone, etc. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of ramble off all of the things that I did and that I do to now be able to sleep really, really well. And there's a few things that I'm not gonna cover in this video, which is that there's probably like 50 overall sleep hacks and different tips and tricks and things that you can do to improve your quality of sleep and improve the amount of REM sleep that you get. But I'm only gonna talk about the things that I either have done in the past or currently do now, okay? So first thing that I do is I do grounding or earthing. This is where you touch any part of your skin to the surface of the earth for an extended period of time. Could be a few minutes, could be more like 10 to 30 minutes. Now, I don't always do this outside. Actually, most of the time what I do, I'm actually grounding right now. You guys can't see it, but I have a grounding mat. So I've made another video. If you guys want to check out the video that I made about grounding mats and specifically the one that I have, I'll put a card in here so that you can go ahead and check that out. But I use a grounding mat, so I stand on it either in the mornings or I put it under my desk and I just have my bare feet on it. And that's really awesome. It reduces inflammation. It has, it has the ability to spread apart your red blood cells, which helps with circulation and blood flow and all this. So I'm not gonna go into all the benefits, but that's one thing that I did more that I think is really helping overall be more healthy, but also helping me sleep. The other thing is sun in the morning. So I'm really, really big on optimizing my circadian rhythm. Now, the circadian rhythm is our body's natural sleep-wake cycle. So it has to do with our body's internal clock, and it's regulated by, the sun, by light and dark and all these different things. So one of the best things that you can do is in the morning, before it's like, 11 or noon or whenever you have that like high overhead sun from up above, you just go outside for anywhere between like 5 and 25 minutes. And that you don't have to stare directly, actually do not stare directly into the sun, but just getting the sunlight in your eyes just by being outside. It could be full sun or it could be completely cloudy. The sun and the light comes through the clouds, comes down through the sky, and it gets into your eyes and helps to set your circadian rhythm. It helps you to wake up, feel better, and then it also helps your body to like know when it's time to go to bed and when it's time to be sleepy. Another thing that can really help, like kind of on the flip side of that, is actually watching the sunset. The light that comes from the sunset, the different wavelengths and things and the colors that you get are absorbed into your eyes, and that helps your body to understand that, hey, the sun's going down, it's time to get sleepy, it's time to, you know, regulate our natural functions and shut the body down, etc. So that's really good. And then also, same thing with going outside in the morning. It's also really good if you're like directly watching the sunrise. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking right now, well, it's the winter time and it's cloudy and it's disgusting and raining and snowing and all this stuff. And it's like, look, I get it, and that definitely sucks, and it makes it a lot more difficult and miserable to go outside in the morning. But look, like, if you want perfect sleep, if you want high natural testosterone, if you want more energy, if you don't want to be a slave to caffeine, if you want to be operating and firing on full cylinders without relying on stimulants and TRT and all this other junk, like, you're gonna have to do things sometimes that are a little bit less than just fully comfortable. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, the other thing that I did is I quit caffeine, okay? You don't necessarily have to do this, but I found it helped so much with so many different things. Guys, quitting caffeine, I know it sounds crazy. It sounds so foreign. Like, I could never do that. What do you mean? Like, I could never function. Guys, it is such a life hack. I promise you, it is so much better for literally everything. But the other thing with caffeine is it stays in your system for like 12 hours. So just because you get up and you drink 1 cup of coffee and you don't go to bed until, you know, 11 or midnight or whatever, like, there's still part of that caffeine is in your system. And even though you might fall asleep right away and you might feel like, you know, you're sleeping well or you're well rested or whatever, you may not be fully maximizing REM sleep or deep sleep or some of these other stages of sleep that are incredibly important. So I quit that. I've made videos about that as well. You can check out on my channel. I'm not going to go full into that right now. The other thing is having a very consistent sleep-wake cycle. So the consistency is really good to just train your body. It's great with your circadian rhythm. What you do is you literally just pick a bedtime and you pick a time to wake up. And you just stick to that more or less within 30 minutes as much as you possibly can. And yeah, just be super consistent with it. So that's it. I've got a few more here really quick though. I did want to say, if you're somebody who's watching this, if you're a guy, if you're a business owner or a career driven man and you want to increase your testosterone naturally, you want to have more natural energy, you want to have more confidence, you want to be able to build that dream body and physique and just be operating and performing at your best, then check out this other video that I created, which is a breakdown of my full Helix protocol, as well as how I naturally boosted my testosterone without TRT. It's a 3-phase process. So now back to the different things that I do here is I wear these blue light blocking glasses at night. So what I do about 2 hours prior to going to sleep is I throw these bad boys on. It helps because we get a lot of blue light that's emitted from our screens, our TVs, overhead lights, phones, etc. And that blue light can actually block our brain's production of melatonin, which is our brain sleepy chemical. So you sleep way better with these, you can fall asleep easier, etc. Just to keep in mind, this isn't something that I do, but you can take sleep supplements. I actually don't take any sleep supplements. I don't do like magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, glycine, or any of those. But you can do those before bed if you need those. Next thing that I did is I quit alcohol completely. So I'm quitting for a year at the very least. Now, you don't have to do this. However, I do think this played a huge part in my sleep quality going up so much. It's not like I was drinking all the time. It's not like I was habitually having a beer or a glass of wine before every single night. Like, I was actually drinking very infrequently as it goes, but alcohol does stay in your system for a long time. And that's just kind of like delayed, like, alcohol brain fog, like foggy energy, lack of sleep, lack of motivation. Like, I feel like it all just kind of works together in this devilish synergistic way to make you less healthy, unfortunately, because it is fun to drink. Anyways, I digress. Next thing I did is I always, almost without fail, I try to eat my last meal at least 3 hours before going to sleep. So 3 to 4 hours is kind of the sweet spot that I've found so that I'm not like incredibly hungry right before I go to bed. But it's great. I've actually shifted my intermittent fasting schedule. So I do a lot of intermittent fasting. I now intermittent fast from about 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. most days. And then that gives me from 6-ish, maybe 6:30 if I'm a little bit behind schedule, until 10:30, which is when I typically go to bed, I've got a good 4 hours, 4 hours of fasting, which is really good because we don't want to be digesting food. We don't want to have just eaten this big, heavy meal for whatever reason. It might make you feel good and tired and relaxed and comfortable and etc. to have just eaten a meal, but it's actually not good for our sleep for whatever reason. I don't exactly know the science. And the last thing I do is I essentially keep the room, my bedroom, wherever I am, just completely off limits except for sleeping. So I try to do absolutely nothing in my bedroom except for sleep. And I think this just builds a really strong association in my mind with being in the bedroom means I'm asleep. Being in the bedroom means it's tired, it's sleepy time, it's night, it's dark, it's quiet, right? And I think that helps just as like an association thing, because I think a lot of times when you're like hanging out in your room for too long, or you're like working in your room, you're doing like all these other things, I think your brain kind of gets confused and doesn't know how to associate, like, okay, are we like productive mode when we're in this room? Are we getting work done when we're in this room? Are we just sleeping? Like, are we chilling, etc.? There's actually an interesting recommendation from one of the world's leading sleep specialists named Matthew Walker. And he talks about if you are trying to go to sleep and you can't fall asleep for longer than like 30 minutes, he actually recommends getting up, going into a different room, doing something super mellow for a little bit, and then coming back and trying to go to sleep after. Because he's like, you don't really want there to be an association for too long of you being awake and being in like your bed or like your sleep environment, because then that just creates that like association. So that's it. Those are really the things that I do. If you start implementing those things right away, I'm sure you're going to see a massive boost in your sleep quality, in your REM sleep, everything. And you can always track with a fitness tracker, or a Ring is the one that I use, which is amazing. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you got any value from this video, please consider subscribing, throw the like button. And if you're a man who is a high performer that really needs all of your mental energy, clarity, natural energy, you want to boost your testosterone naturally, you want to feel better, you want to have a better mood, you don't want to be crashing all the time, you don't want to be tired and sluggish through the day, you don't want to be not being able to get to your workouts, then guys, there is a fix, and I can help you with this. The Helix protocol is something that I do and that many other men have done to achieve incredible levels of natural energy and incredible levels of natural testosterone and confidence. So I have a video down in the description. It's also one that I linked earlier, which does a full breakdown of the Helix protocol and also shows the 3 phases that I went through to increase my own testosterone naturally by over 400 points. So go ahead and check those things out. That's going to be it for today. I will see you guys on the next one.